En junker ved juletid.
Ting tang ting nu til dig.
Omkring ham dalede sneen hvid.
Ting tang ting nu til dig.
So we put out a tweet yesterday, and we were asking what your favorite villains were.
Yeah.
Jake said Kirby. And that's fair because
Jake's a Smash Brothers player, right? So
I hadn't even considered that. Kirby is a destructive menace.
Yeah.
Like, he goes into this place. There's a tree sitting there minding its own business.
Yeah.
It's just hanging out. And like, yeah, you can float over everything.
Yeah.
You can also inhale and destroy everything around you.
Kirby,
like he's kind of a villain.
Yeah. Well, he is. He destroys everything, good, bad. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yoshi kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
Yoshi will eat anything.
Well, especially and Mario in the same way, because like in the original story of Super Mario Brothers, it talks about how Bowser turned all the denizens of Mushroom Kingdom into bricks.
Yes.
Which Mario smashes.
Yes.
Or turns to coins and collects.
Either way, he is consuming them or destroying them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he's just a jerk.
Yeah, when it comes to villains we're doing video game villains, obviously.
Yes.
So when it comes to villains, I think there's a lot of great ones, but I think it's important to have a villain who they have a purpose, and the purpose isn't just be evil. The Dr. Robotnik, I apologize, but Dr. Robotnik, it's such a thin veil. It works when you're 5.
Yeah.
But
works really well when you're 5, apparently.
It works great. It's just he's a bad guy. That's all you need. That's the only explanation you need. I like a villain who has a plan. I need a guy who has a plan. He has a motivation. He wants to accomplish a thing, and that's his own thing. Now that's me as an adult, obviously.
So
that's why I like Wesker from the Resident Evil franchise.
Okay.
Because Wesker...
It's also fun because I didn't realize until I played it for our reviews, but he's in the first scene of the first game as an ally.
Yes.
And that's just awesome.
Yeah.
I like how his story arc plays out.
You have different... everyone, and it comes to writing as well. Here's your writing advice for the week. Everyone has a different motivation. And just because you don't agree with them, and because the outcome may be bad, they might not realize how bad it is. Yeah. And I'm looking at you, Trump. They may have the best intentions.
Yeah.
But because of a specific worldview skew or a specific motivation or whatever, it's going to cause a problem. So that's why I mentioned Wesker is one of my favorites in that case. Sephiroth is a great one as well.
Playing off of what you were just saying about like character motivations and everything. Spoilers for The Last of Us.
Okay.
Joel is the villain of Last of Us, in my opinion.
Joel makes
he makes some decisions that are exclusively for him, and they are selfish things.
Yeah.
And in particular, right at the very end, I am not comfortable with the decisions that he makes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope.
I think that, to me, that's okay for protagonists, though.
Yeah.
Because I think that shows how different they are. And that can be a subtle thing as to a specific person that maybe they romantically ended up with, a situation where you have a choice which I might not agree with, but the character thinks is the right choice.
And you can understand it from their perspective. That's the most important thing about writing a villain. What makes a good villain is if you can see things from their perspective. And like you're talking about Dr. Robotnik, he's just there to be evil. There's not a perspective there. He is simply there to exist as the antagonist. Yeah.
Now, Sephiroth is another one of my favorites, and we could go into Kefka as well. But I think Kefka, it goes way into the maddening aspect of it.
It's the pure megalomaniacal.
Exactly.
The drive for power.
Yes.
And in the second half of the game, no spoilers. After he reaches the pinnacle of power, he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's a really fun aspect
a dog
of that.
chasing a car.
Yeah, I got it now, I will create a monument to non-existence. Love that line.
Can't wait to play it.
It's very similar to Kuja in 9.
Yeah.
I like the aspects of wanting to protect and take care of Earth.
Yeah.
Or Gaia.
Yeah.
In 7.
And in 7, that's one thing that I enjoyed about Sephiroth is at first you think he's just a bad guy, and then you realize, spoilers for Final Fantasy 7, it's been out for 20 years.
Yep.
You realize, he is part of the ancients, and he's a clone, and he's dealing with that. He's dealing with his self-identity, and then saying, what is better for this planet? And because of the life force and everything, he feels it's just best to just wipe it out.
Yeah.
And again, it's just different. It's
we had to burn the
motivation.
village to save it, sir.
And that's exactly that's what makes him compelling to me, because when I was younger, I was like, oh, he's bad and he's evil, and then you realize why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a great villain. But some of my favorite villains didn't necessarily have to have that. Like I said, Robotnik. Yeah. When I was little, Robotnik was great. Bowser's a great villain, even though his motivations are, like you said, Mushroom Kingdom, turn everyone into bricks, kidnap the lady, and then have...
That's his lady.
Come on. I mean, she gets...
I ship it.
I ship it, and they more than likely had a kid. Come on.
They did. It's confirmed. Chris White also says, big boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. She had a great story for herself, and the backstory between her and Snake added a nice layer that most villains and protagonists don't have.
Yeah.
I also really enjoy when they're able to do that, because if you can make an antagonist who stands alone and is a developed character with their own perspective, their own goals, that's cool.
Yeah.
But if you can have an interaction where there's a special connection between the protagonist and antagonist, that's something that can be really, really amazing.
I think that there are certain villains that could have been done better. Skullface in Metal Gear Solid 5 had a lot of good build-up, and then the Man on Fire had a lot of good build-up, and it just wasn't executed properly, in my opinion.
I think Konami is the villain of Metal Gear Solid 5.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I didn't understand their motivation.
I don't want to spoil it, but I will say, if you have played all of Metal Gear Solid 5 and you realize what is actually happening, it's great when it comes to villain aspects. I don't want to spoil it, because some people may have not seen it.
Yeah,
you haven't finished. You haven't beaten it. So.
No, not yet.
So
it's one of those. It's one of those that's intimidating, because that's an enormous game.
It is, but I encourage you. I encourage you, after you beat it, either find someone who knows a lot about Metal Gear, or find a video that explains. Because if you've not been in the Metal Gear series, engulfed in them, Metal Gear just completely embraced it, you may not understand the huge gravity of that ending. Yeah, it's a perfect ending.
There's also one other villain that we haven't discussed, and that's when the antagonist is the environment you're in. Like, because they're like in The Walking Dead, there's good characters, bad characters, whatever, but the environment itself also plays a part as the villain, because the zombies in and of themselves are not... They don't have motivation. They don't have all these layers, but it is a foil for the protagonist, and that's something that can be done well or less well.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And by definition, an antagonist's motivations are to stop the protagonist from doing whatever they're doing to protag, and in this case, killing him. Yeah. Technically, that counts.
That takes them out.
That counts. Their motivation may be brains, but...
Yeah.
And if your first thought when you think zombies is brains, then you need to watch better zombie movies. But anyways. It's taken over.
So anyway, that's our take on villains and what makes a good one, and some of our favorites.
Yeah.
So put it down in the comments which ones we missed.
Yeah.
I think we covered them all.
We covered every single villain in a video game.
Every villain in every video game. So
But
if we missed any,
Yeah.
then let us know in the comments, and we will give you a like.
Yeah, I'll give you a like. I may give you 2 or 3 internet points as well.
Okay.
I got
There
a
you
couple
go.
of those to give out. So
Yeah, and do all the internet things like subscribe and do all. You know where the buttons are. You know
Yeah.
what to do. So yeah, that's our show for this week.
love you guys.
Thanks.
We'll see you later.